Hey, 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 good evening, everybody. Welcome to this live edition of Turnaround Marriage, where we are so excited to bring an awesome couple before you to share an amazing testimony of God's transformation, to hear their story of an amazing turnaround in their marriage. And if you're out there this evening and you're wondering, is there hope for me? Is there hope for our marriage? Could there possibly be a path where things could be entirely different in a short amount of time? We've come to the exact right place, because you are going to hear the testimony of an amazing couple and really an amazing transformative story. So you definitely want to dive in for this amazing message this evening.
Yes. Hey, everybody. I want you to say hey to Jim and Christine. Jim and Christine, would you guys just wave at everybody? We're so glad that you guys are here. Jim and Christine are an amazing couple. They're from the Midwest. They're both nurses, and they'll be celebrating their 15th anniversary this summer. 16th anniversary this summer. That's right. Yeah. 16th anniversary this summer. And they have been so much fun to work with. And so if you tonight are feeling hopeless in your marriage, if maybe you guys have already separated, maybe you're apartment shopping, you've got to stay tuned for this live edition. Let's tell them why we love Christine and Jim.
Well, we're going to introduce us real quick.
Well, we are Scott and Rachel. Yes. We help committed Christian couples finally end the cycles of conflict, negativity, and disconnection, and reclaim the love, passion, and playfulness that they once had. And so that's what we've helped Jim and Christine do. And it has been our joy and pleasure to work with them and get to know them. We absolutely adore them. They are incredible.
Absolutely. They are. And let me just say about you guys real quick. First of all, thank you for being here.
Yes.
Jim, you are such a fun guy. You are a strong, confident, determined man. And I love the way you have dove in this whole process. You were working hard the whole way, and it shows a lot about who you are. And to be in the line of work that you've been in also testifies to the caring side of you. And same for you, Christine. You know, you have that empathy and love and care as such a kind and loving, giving person. That's who you are. You guys truly are an amazing couple. And just looking at you, you guys are infectious. Like your love, your interaction with each other is totally infectious to everybody that watches you. It's totally true. So guys, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for that great introduction.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Wow. And we're so grateful that you've been generous to share your time and your story with us. And so I think we should just dive in straight up to how was it before, when you guys were, let's talk about maybe 2.5 months ago. Where were you guys at? What was life like for you guys?
We were in kind of a bad spot, I guess you could say. We couldn't talk. Every time we talked, it ended up in yelling at each other and being mad and just walking away because we just couldn't communicate. And got down to the point where we were shopping for apartments, ready to sell the house so that we could go ahead and just move apart from each other because we couldn't get along.
How about for you, Christine? What was life like for you?
It was such a struggle. I was very hopeless. I was very depressed. I mean, I functioned, I went to work, but I was just like, this is what's going on. You know, my marriage is falling apart. And it was the last fight we had before we started this. And I looked at Jim and it was just devastating. I mean, I thought, oh my goodness, what's going on? And I was scared and I was angry. I just couldn't make sense out of any of it because we were awesome together, and then we got stuck, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
And it's fair to say that was impacting work life and other family life and friendships outside of your marriage. It was impacting really a lot of other aspects of life, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. It impacted everything in our life.
And what was it like when you guys got in the car to start shopping? Like, what did it feel like in that moment when you were faced with, oh my goodness, like this is where it's really going? What was going through your mind and your heart in that moment?
Again, a lot of fear and bewilderment, I guess. Just didn't know where anything was going. It was just, everything was out of control. Yeah. It just felt like you were in a car skidding down the highway.
Wow.
Couldn't steer anymore.
Wow. Wow.
Did it just gradually get worse over time, or was it just sort of bad for a long time and it just got to the breaking point?
Well, what do you think?
It got worse over time. I mean, and then it was just almost unreal. I mean, it's just like I was looking at a couple that I didn't know anymore, and it was just very, very scary. And then looking for apartments, it just didn't ever feel like it was the right answer, but we didn't know what else to do. I mean, because we couldn't keep going on the way we were.
And when you're having trouble communicating and you're in a pandemic and stuck at home together most of the time, it's not very conducive to having a good relationship.
That just kind of makes it, kind of magnifies it all, probably.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And then with the day we got in a huge fight, and I get really angry and I throw things and break things, and I broke this picture, and that was the day I saw Jim I've never seen that look on his face before, and it just scared me. And the next day, literally, you guys popped up and I listened, and I'm just like, this is a godsend. I mean, it just felt right. And I listened, and then I had Jim listen, and the rest is history. I mean, it's just really, God has just really given us the answer, and we couldn't be happier.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's awesome. So tell us about that. Like, we do believe for sure that this wasn't a coincidence, that God brought our paths together. No question about it. So, but even with that being true, is it fair to say that on the front end, we're starting off into this, relationship really together? Is it fair to say we were a little skeptical at first?
Absolutely. When she first brought it up, I was like, I don't want to hear about it. And I was watching TV and just kept watching TV. And so I told her I'll look at it later. And I don't know why, but I just felt an overwhelming need to just go ahead and, take a gander. And so she played it for me, and I don't know, it felt really good and felt right. So, we went ahead and went forward at that point.
Yeah.
So you saw this ad on Facebook, these random people you never heard of, and you watched our masterclass. So when you booked that call, were you scared? Were you excited? Were you hopeful? Kind of what was going through your mind as you're like picking up the phone to talk to some stranger?
I'm stranger than some.
Yeah.
You are.
I was very hopeful and just almost relieved. And when Jim kind of like, we're going to do this, I'm like, this is the answer. I just knew it because Jim was on board, so it's going to be good. So I just thought it was just.
I was a little nervous, and I was very skeptical until we talked to you. And then after we'd talked for a little while, I was like, okay, it's not, just some guy that wants to bring up my ugly past and beat me over the head with it.
Well, I like the whole concept of, you don't focus on the past. You don't bring up who did what or who did that, and that you just focus on moving forward and putting God first in your marriage. And it just all made sense. It's like, let's focus on the positive instead of bringing up all the negative, and it works. It's been wonderful.
Beautiful. And so let's ask, and I'm so thankful for the way that God orchestrated that. And so when we started working together, and you guys did an amazing job, you did everything I asked and more, which is one of the reasons you guys got a great outcome. But let's talk about, we dove in. We did. You guys dove in. We dove in together. What happened week 1, week 2, week 3 for you guys?
Well, week 1, I I looked at her and went, this is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's some work there, no doubt.
Kind of freaked me out at first.
Well, I thought week 1 was great because even though it was a lot of work, it just seemed like overnight it just changed my attitude, and I could see our marriage was moving in a positive way, and we were liking each other again. And I think week 3 probably got to be like, oh my goodness, it was a lot, but we just knew in our hearts we need to keep going.
Yeah.
And because we are so important. And it was amazing on how you're so busy in life, but you're like, okay, my marriage is number 1. So we put everything else on the back burner. And it's just amazing on if you put God first and then us first, it's how it all works out. It's, the way it's supposed to be, but we just never practice it that way. And now we do. We're a priority. So.
Yep.
That's beautiful. And you guys look like you're having fun.
Yep.
So how far in did it take for you to start having fun again?
It was probably about halfway through, about week 4, that we finally started loosening up. I guess, you just take yourself so seriously sometimes, and finally realized, it's just not worth all that. My little ego, it just isn't worth losing my wife over.
Yeah.
So, but about probably week 4, we were starting to enjoy each other's company again.
Yeah.
That's
laughing a lot.
from apartment shopping to all of a sudden where you could hardly stand to be around each other, couldn't have a conversation.
Yeah.
And what I love about you guys is how coachable you were.
Yeah.
How you literally were like, we're doing this. It was the decision. It was the decision, like, this is going to work or else. I mean, and you guys literally did, like Scott said, you did everything that we told you to do. And, it's like, if you want to get a turnaround in your marriage and you want to do it quickly, why not just jump in with both feet and like get it over with? Let's get our 6-pack abs now rather than wait a year or 2, or, because some marriages don't have that long, right? Some people, no, they're not going to make it if it's going to take forever and forever. So, so tell us.
First 2 or 3 modules are awesome.
Yeah.
Because they really do get you turned around quickly. And, if you're following along with the modules, it turns around very fast. And it was very surprising. I didn't think it'd work as well as it did. I'll be honest with you.
Well, that's amazing. And just so people know, in our program, we've designed it to help you get out of the ruts really quickly. And then once you get out of the ruts, you can start creating the new healthy patterns and really start having fun again in a relatively short amount of time. So we do dive in together and so that does happen. It is some work, obviously, and that's why you guys really started making a lot of progress quickly.
Yeah. And I know, Christine, for you, probably that emotional state you lived in was really what sadness and despair for so much of your time before you came to us, right?
Yes.
It's like you couldn't shake it. Wasn't really sure why.
Yeah. And it was very scary.
Yeah. And for you, Jim, was it more like anger?
I was living in a lot of fear and anger. I was just, with everything going on around us and, and all the political stuff and this and that, and the pandemic, and it just, I just felt angry. I felt angry, and I was extremely negative, and I didn't see it. Christine did. She could tell more than I could, but and a lot of it, I just, it really did. The first couple of modules helped me really turn that around and see that where I was going in the wrong direction. And so, once you get yourself turned around, it's pretty easy to turn everything else around.
Yeah.
True.
And that's actually, I was going to ask you, because we are, we're not just out here by ourselves. Like we're invested with one another. We are our marriage. We are ourselves. And when things are not right at home, they're not right in other places. And when things are not right in our lives and our hearts and other places, things are not right at home. And that's how we are. We're body, soul, mind, and emotion and everything else, spirit. So I'm curious, we've designed it so that we're working on the couple and the individual at the same time. I'm curious how much you guys felt like you felt that shift within you personally. How much of that was part of the equation?
I think it was a huge part of the equation for me.
Yeah, for me also, yes.
And it helped me not only with my relationship with my wife, but also a relationship with my son that, had kind of soured and so and straighten that out too, which was awesome.
Praise
But
God.
I kind of like my kids, so
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing how one thing impacts another.
It does.
And when you can get this marriage and really find your new emotional home, because we really believe, Scott and I do, that if somebody is living in frustration or fear or anger or sadness, it is just almost impossible to have a close connected relationship. Not that we just stuff those feelings down. We sort of taught you how to lean into them and feel them and let them go and then choose where you want to live emotionally. And so it's just been so fun to watch you guys literally shift from, I would say, kind of like Eeyores, I say this in a loving way, to like happy and fun. Like you guys were the ones cuddling on our calls and
quickly like we want to be like them.
Yeah. And the other couples in our program are like, oh, Jim and Christine.
You guys are so cute.
They're so adorable. So catch us up to speed. What's life like in a day when you guys get home from work, and tell us, how things are for you guys
at this point.
It's really good. I mean, all day long is just, I enjoy going to work. I was dreading going to work. Just like you said, everything was impacted. I enjoy going to work. I don't look at my life now like any little chore as a chore or like, why am I doing this? It's a pleasure now. It's a blessing. I enjoy, cooking and doing the dishes, and everyth's fun. And, if there's a chore we need to do together, then we'll turn on the music and turn on the Christian music and turn it up loud, and we'll wash dishes together. It's been awesome. I mean, everything is great. And there's just hope, and I'm just looking forward to spending many more years together and just keep rocking it.
Beautiful.
Turn on the Crowder radio and
that's awesome.
and wash dishes.
Jim, you tell us, what's it like for you?
It's wonderful. I kind of work by appointment, so I leave the house and I come back to the house. I leave the house, I come back, and there was times where I kind of dreaded coming back home. But things weren't going well between us, and it was just like, almost try to avoid each other as much as possible. And I don't have to do that anymore. We enjoy being together, so it's I can't wait to get back home now.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing, guys. That is so beautiful. Well, and it's obvious to see, and I'm sure family and friends have already begun to notice there's something different about them, and probably even some of the people that you visit professionally, have noticed, wow, they've got a joy about them that's infectious. And, that's how we began this call. You guys, your relationship and you as individuals, your love, your joy is so infectious, and you guys are on a path, walking with God, walking with each other in a new, fresh way. And we can't ever go back. Right?
Yep.
Right.
I mean, you guys look into the future. You guys are just so encouraged to think about where you're going to be in a year, 5, 10, and how God's going to use you in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about that.
What a gift to share your story. Thank you, guys. So, what would you say to that couple out there who's been shopping for apartments? Or the wife who her husband has already left, or the separation's already happened, or they're feeling like, I just can't live with you anymore. What would you encourage them to do?
Honestly, just hang in there. If you go through the steps, whether you go through them with somebody or without that person, it does something for you, and it changes you, and that change in you might just turn them around too.
It's the program is definitely worth it. I can't say enough about it. And I always felt like I was supported sorry, by you guys. I mean, anytime that I had a challenge or a question or even a bad day, I always could reach out to you guys with no hesitation. And that was huge because, I mean, it just works. And I just can't say enough about it because not only is our marriage working, but I feel like a different person. I haven't felt this way in years. And it's just, it's wonderful. I can't say enough about it.
Oh,
And there's just hope. I mean, there's just so much hope in this program.
Oh, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, guys. That means the world for you guys to say that. And we know that we're going to stay in touch, and we know that in the future we get to, see what God has in store, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And and I do want to say to anybody that's out there, our story for Rachel and I, and for Jim and Christine, and for many others, has been similar. Like it at one point seemed so hopeless that how could things possibly get better? That's been so long that it's not been good. Yeah. And we're here to testify that God has better things in his heart and mind for your marriage than what it's been.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And yes. Yeah. So Jim and Christine, we're so proud of you. We're so excited about what God has in store. And for anybody else that's out there, we want to encourage you. If you're wondering, could this be for us? Let's go ahead and let's book a call. All you have to do is go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call, pick a time that works. We'll get on the phone, fill out a short application. We'll get on the phone, and this could be the best 45 minutes to an hour that you've ever spent in your marriage. And we'll talk about what's not working, where you hope things could go, and a path to get there. And if we're a good fit and we know that we can help you, we'll make that path absolutely clear. Mm-hmm. If not, we'll point you in the right direction either way. So we want to encourage you to check that out, turnaroundmarriage.com/call. Jim, Christine, thank you so much. Any last words that you'd want to share before we wrap up this evening?
I just want to say I'm really excited that we can still go back and go through this again if we want, or pick out those things in the modules that maybe I want to work on a little more, and that I think that's a fantastic benefit to it.
Have all our tools still there that if we need it, go back on, and
because sometimes I'm a little dense and I need to go back and reread.
Yeah, and that is certainly available to you. But we also stay in touch with all of our grads too. So that is the other part of it that's going to be really helpful. So it's designed to get you guys to a whole new level, point you in a different direction that's going to continue to get you the outcome that you've hoped for, really getting your marriage in alignment with God's best for you. Mm-hmm. So you guys are amazing. The sky's the limit. You've only begun the next chapter, and what God has in store, we can't even imagine. Right. Mm-hmm. So you guys have yes. And we're excited. I know you guys have some time away coming up soon, and it's well earned. And you guys we look forward to hearing about great times. And we know that we'll get to stay in touch too. So thank you guys for being with us this evening.
We love you, Jim and Christine. And good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Have a good one, guys. God bless.
Bye-bye.